if you just listen to the dialogue in this scene, it was George Costanza saying he was going to do the opposite of everything he's been doing. It's like whatever he would normally do, just do the opposite. Because if you always do the wrong thing, then you could always do the right one. And
that's the best.
The screenplay
say
to me
up,
was
I
like
say down. You say black, I say white.
high school level shit, right? Like I feel like there are high school kids writing screenplays that good. But the way he just knocks it out of the park, and Elaine's...
You're a madman! You're a madman!
I'm
Someone
a
has to
genius.
shut you up!
I'm a genius. No. Watch the clips.
There are high school kids writing better stuff than Seinfeld.
As good.
It's literally
I
the
said it was
best
high school
written
level.
TV show ever.
No, it's not just the writing, it's the creativity, the uniqueness of the plots, the way that it really reaches out to people, and it's like, wow, that's like a real life thing, like just kind of pushed a little further, where it's like, oh, I would do something like, put up with a rude guy serving me food if he really did have the best soup on the block, or like, oh, I could see how that would work, or oh, I can imagine being George stuck in this relationship trying to escape, and then she ends up poisoning herself on stamps and dies anyway, and he kind of feels good about it. He feels envelopes.
Or was it the toxic? I think it was the envelopes because he got the cheap
envelopes. Yeah, he bought the cheap,
cheapest ones they had. That was his only thing he picked was the fucking envelopes, and they were toxic. Killed her.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I
Seinfeld stand up, I don't really like it one bit, but that show is great.
Very good. I agree 100%. Larry David is the more talented of that pair. You ever see Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I want to watch...
I think I watched a couple episodes of that and I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, me either, but I appreciate that it's a good show. It's just not my cup of tea.
Were you guys
Larry
up on
David's
Better Call Saul?
Yeah, I'm all caught up. Yeah, I think I watched the 5th episode.
I want to watch this thing with you guys. I'm trying to set it up so I can get it.
So what are we watching?
Close. George Costanza do his thing. I'm trying to watch this, see how this works. That'll at least get me close for when it starts. All right. Here's the link.
Got us running for the DA.
Watch it together. Are you ready? Ready? Oh, wait. I just click it, and it'll automatically sync us all up.
Speaking of having it all.
Now watch.
I went to the beach.
Listen to the words. The words are not brilliant.
It's not working, Jerry.
The words aren't
It's
brilliant.
not working.
It's the way he says it.
That isn't working.
Why did it all turn out like this for me? I had so much promise. I was personable. I was bright. Oh, maybe not academically speaking, but I was perceptive. I always know when someone's uncomfortable at a party.
It's the performance.
It all became very clear to me sitting out there today that every decision I've ever made in my entire life has been wrong.
I'm telling you, watching
My life is the
DiCaprio
complete opposite
and
of
To Catch Me If You
everything I want it
Can,
to be.
there with
Every
Hanks,
instinct
I feel like he's
have
just
in
as
every
good. I feel like he
aspect of
becomes
life,
the guy.
Something to wear, something to eat. It's all been wrong.
Tuna on toast, coleslaw, cup of coffee.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. I always have tuna on toast. Nothing's ever worked out for me with tuna on toast. I want the complete opposite of tuna on toast.
Chicken salad.
Chicken salad on rye. Untoasted, with a side of potato salad, and a cup of tea.
Well, there's no telling what can happen from this.
See, it doesn't have to be written to be like super eloquent and great. Like it's getting the point across of what it is, a comedic scene. Like that conciseness is part of what makes it funny sometimes.
It's sharp writing.
George, you know that
It's
woman
just sharp writing, I feel
Acting,
like. The
of course,
direction.
George adds to it. George is one of the best characters ever,
Don't talk to
but
her.
it's not just them.
Elaine, bald man with no
I feel like
jobs
the
and no
writing
money.
can't be
Live with
discounted.
their
Let him watch it
parents.
for a second.
I love it.
I don't think it can,
Strange
but
women.
also
I've seen this scene 18 times.
It's not about you.
Instead of tuna salad and being intimidated by women, chicken salad and going right up to them.
Yeah, I should do the opposite. I should.
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
Yes. I will do the opposite. I used to sit here and do nothing and regret it for the rest of the day. So now I will do the opposite and I will do something. excuse me. I couldn't help but notice that you were looking in my direction.
Oh, yes, I was. You just ordered the same exact lunch as me.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
It's the opposite, I guess. He's not lying about his job.
I'm Victoria. Hi.
Okay, so that I guess we'll stop it there. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I wanted people to see it like I see it. Like, just watch it and don't just like sit back and enjoy the show, but like critique the performances and the script. And Costanza was killing it in there. Just
He is, but he's killing it. But you don't need a super high level of writing to convey humor in that way. Like, the goal wasn't for him to be like, doth think thou art not acting as thou shouldest? And it's like he doesn't have to talk like Shakespeare or have some eloquent, quip every 2 seconds. Like, just the quick, straightforward thing makes you... That kind of writing, I think, is arguably better because it's more like the way people would talk. Where it's like...
I think he's got great direction there, too, because you got Larry David right next to the camera. He's your director. And George's character is Larry David. That's who it's based off of. So he can go in there and be like, no, I'd say it like this. I feel like it's a perfect storm.
You've got it
makes
backwards,
George a great
because
character.
I've watched YouTube videos where Larry David and George are together, and Larry David tries to be Costanza, and he fucking sucks at being Costanza. The student has passed the teacher. Like, I've heard this narrative before that, like, oh yeah, Larry David is the real genius behind this thing. George just imitates him. No. Larry David cannot do George Costanza nearly as well as whatever.
Woody is correct on this. Woody's right. I've seen clips of this too, where Larry David even said something like, "Oh, I had an idea for George, but when, whatever his name is, started playing him, it was like a whole new reality of it opened up to me that like he was doing it better than even I thought was possible." Like, so that's true. They were surprised by his ability to carry that character.
I don't know. People will disagree with me, I'm sure. Some people, I think it's gotten awards for its writing, so clearly people who do look. But to me, I thought that script was an ordinary script turned into an extraordinary show by amazing acting.
When you talk about the script, I think the ideas, the things that are happening, and how you start off on 2 or 3 paths and then they converge by the end and become one bigger story with everyone interacting. I think it's brilliant. And some of the things that just happen, like, when he's golfing and he's getting a hole-in-one in the whale, and meanwhile George is pretending to be a marine biologist to get laid. So he's in the scenario where she's like, "Save the whale, George, save the whale," and he's telling the story about rolling his sleeves and walking into the surf, and suddenly a waves crashing all on me, like she says, and I was lifted up onto the back of the great beast. And he's telling the story. Like, sure, he's killing it right there. He is great. But who the fuck wrote a story of where Kramer gets a hole, hits the whale and
a blowhole,
and that's the punchline at the end. Kramer goes, "Hole in one," and that's the show. I feel like everything is great on Seinfeld. Seinfeld's the greatest TV show that there's ever been, as far as sitcoms go. It's the greatest sitcom ever that there ever was.
Is that a titleist? Is that a titleist?
That's not how you spell Titleist.
But
that looks like an ancient Egyptian god, or I guess Greek god looks better.
Titleist.
Yeah, Titleist,
Lord of the Underworld. But I think it's a lot of great things coming together. I think it's great writing, great acting, great directing. You get Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David coming together, and I've heard. There was a female writer, I don't know her name, but she's been on the Stern Show before, and she wrote a lot of the better episodes, and she talked about her writing style and the team of writers and everything, and just a lot went into making Seinfeld the greatness that it was.
Mm-hmm. I'm due for a rewatch.
But yeah, I'm caught up on Better Call Saul.